Okay, welcome everybody for our next session in here. A couple reminders before we start. Please silence your cell phones. And if you have a question, please raise your hand, wait for the microphone, and state your name and affiliation, please. If you're joining us on Zoom, raise your hand and we will get to you as time permits. One introduction here before we begin. I want to introduce the Emma White, Strategic Communication Coordinator for UNC Greensboro. There you are. If anybody has questions about the team, you can see Emma. With that, I'd like to introduce our two student athletes here today. We have Jade Gamble with us, and we have Nia Howard with us. So what we'll do is we'll start with questions from the audience. If anybody has any questions, please fire away. Same on Zoom if anyone has questions on Zoom. Let's wait for
Madi Cowie, USCfootball.com. USC is kind of known for their defense. They do a full court press and all that. What kind of stands out in your prep on in that aspect and kind of what they do well?
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior. But to answer your question, yes, they're definitely known for their defense, but we're known for our defense as well. We've prepped. We know what we can do. We know, obviously, that they're going to come with the pressure, but we've prepped all week just to be able to beat their pressure and know what decisions we have to make once we get past that first line.
At the end of the day, our team knows how to play basketball. We just have to remain poised, and ball security is really important in this game.
Can you talk about you've had quite a historic season really for your school, first time in 27 years of the NCAAs and all that. What does that mean? Reflect back on the kind of season you had.
Yeah, no, it's nothing short than a blessing. It's definitely great to be able to, perform with UNCG on your chest. But going back to the history, you said it hasn't been done in 27 years. I think I've mentioned this earlier in the season. We've worked hard for this moment. We know we're built for this moment. It was all in timing for us to be able to come here and be able to play on this level. So it's definitely a blessing.
It is. It's definitely a blessing. We made a vision board before the season even started about just all of our goals, and two of those goals we accomplished. All of them really we accomplished, but the main two goals were, getting a ring, regular season champs, and also conference tournament champs, and we did all of that. And, grateful to be a part of this team and have this amazing coaching staff and everything. So, yeah.
I'll keep rolling with questions. I believe you're top ranked in the country in terms of scoring defense. I think USC's one of the top 10 in the country in scoring offense. Push comes to shove. How do you see that?
I mean, basketball is a game of runs. We know they're going to go on their runs. We're going to go on our runs. Like you said, they're good in offense, but we're good at defense. So it's going to be a tit-for-tat battle, but we're ready for it. We're prepared.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good game. We're going to do what we know we can do, what we're good at. That's one of those main things, our defense. So we take a lot of pride in our defense no matter what team we're playing.
You've come a long way from North Carolina to across the country. Have you had any time to look around L.A.?
Oh, yeah, you can't miss L.A. Once you're here, you're here. It's totally different from North Carolina. One is the weather. It's nice out here. But, yeah, we did a team outing yesterday, and we went to the pier, so that was nice just to get away from basketball a little bit. But it's been nice out here. Can't complain.
It's really fun, actually. Like a few of our teammates, we sang with someone in the middle of the sidewalk and started dancing. We did a whole musical number with them. It was so fun, actually. So.
I'll help you out a little bit. Two of the teams that you guys faced that are pretty big. I mean, SEC and ACC teams in North Carolina and Georgia. You played them pretty early on. What are some of the things that the team has learned from then, and going through conference games and winning the regular season title and then the tournament?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think those two games, well, actually through play Wake Forest as well, I think those games definitely shaped our season. They showed us that we can fight in any battle. I mean, we were in all three of those games. We could have won 2 out of the 3 of those games. So I think that shaped us to know that we're here and we can compete. Now, once you can compete, now it's trying to figure out what can we do to compete but win. So I think that's what made us focus more on the little details like boxing out, having to get rebounds, the little stuff that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, just so that we can outlast these bigger and stronger opponents.
Yeah, I have to second that. Like, little details really matter in these types of games. So, Wake Forest and Georgia and UNC, they're all, bigger, of course. And so it was all about boxing out, getting that last little defensive stop, and then all the things that matter.
So coming in as a 16 seed, playing a 1 seed, how does that weigh on your mind? Does that play into anything?
Not me. No, not at all. I don't think it plays on to any of us. I mean, when you have a coach that trusts and believes in you and what your teammates can do, I don't think there's no pressure. I think if anything, it's harder to be the number 1 seed than to have to play to be the 16 seed and go play. So we're just ready to play. I'm ready to go for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're just ready to shock the world, really. We have this underdog mentality, as Jade likes to say. So, being the lower seed is actually pretty good motivation for us, be able to compete with these teams.
Terry Smith, USC. I just had a quick question. As seniors, can you reflect on your time at UNCG and like what this means to you to make it to this level?
I've been here for 4 years, It means so much knowing that this has been a goal for a long time and actually getting it. Like, that's why it was such an emotional game after winning against Chat. First thing we could do was just drop down to our knees and thank God and start crying and everything. It just means a lot.
This is my second year here. I transferred in, so I haven't had the longer journey at UNCG like Nia has, but I would say that we put in a lot of work. I mean, going from last year to make it to the championship, not winning the championship, to this year going back to the championship, playing the team we played in the championship last year to winning it is like a complete 360. But I think the one thing that stayed consistent is the hard work and the effort that coaches and players have put in. So more so the journey, like when I have to hang my jersey up, the one thing I can say is that the people beside me were ready to go every night, every day to compete and get better.
Any other questions? Anybody from Zoom? Okay. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, again, we're good, Justin. I'd like to welcome up to the dais here Coach Patterson. We will ask you to make some opening comments about your team and the upcoming game, and then we'll take some questions from the group. Thank you.
Okay. I think we have a very talented team. I think this team is the most mentally tough team that I've coached. We're mentally tough. We're experienced. We have depth. We don't have a lot of one-trick ponies, players that can only do one thing. We have players that can do multiple things. And then we play defense, and that's what we've been talking about all year. We've been talking about the fact that we have to travel with our defense. And so with that, we've had an incredible season, incredible players, great people, and here we are. Here we are. The goal was to get to a championship this year, and here we are. We're excited about this opportunity.
Okay. Questions?
Sorry, Terry Smith, USC Stats.
Yes.
Throughout the season, you guys have actually had a rebounding edge over most of your opponents. USC is similar, having a rebounding edge. How much of an emphasis have you put on that? Task your players with making sure they get boards and trying to control the rebounds to affect obviously second chance points and defensive opportunities for you guys.
That's a good question. We have four ways that describes Spartan basketball. It's like, the late, great John Wooden, he has a pyramid of success. So our pyramid of success starts with the base, and that's defense. So we try to defend like our lives depend on it. And second would be rebounding. So rebounding is one of the core values of our program. And so with that, you see that we have a rebounding edge over most of our opponents, even a couple of the power forwards that we've played. I think we out-rebounded Georgia, and we out-rebounded Wake Forest. So that's core, and we look at that as opportunities. Opportunities would be second chance points for us, would be our offensive rebounds. Khalees Kane is an elite offensive rebounder, one of the top in the nation. She's very difficult to box out. She's very active. And then we tend to send three to the boards. And so we even have some guards who like to get in there and get O boards. Rebounding is something we focus on and practice daily, our rebounding drills. It is so crucial to give yourself a chance. So you can't run until you rebound. The third phase would be to run. And pace is something that we love as a coach. I love. This year we haven't had the pace that we've had in the past. But we've had success. So we just have a different opportunities. Our different opportunities for more chances would be steals. We tend to get more steals than normal this year. And then the last piece would be execution. So execution is ball security. Executing on defense would be not fouling. We're one of the top teams in the country with not fouling. Understanding what a good shot is. And so when I say that rebound is just a part of it, but it's so important. We absolutely, that's what we look at the stat sheet every day.
Coach, can you talk about your opponent for tomorrow and what you see in USC?
Yes, USC is a great team with a great player, but not just one great player. They're one of the fastest teams in the country. We have to really focus on what's important now. We've been really talking about that as we've been in this postseason period. The third part of the season is postseason. And so what's important now for us would be transition defense. Transition defense, getting back and getting the ball stopped. What's important for us with this, they have a tremendous, relentless defensive team. defensive rebounding team and offensive rebounding team. So we have to really box out their key offensive rebounders. They send forward to the board. So we have to make contact early, and we want to rebound by committee. We've challenged our guards to get 5 rebounds, all of them. Not just Khalees, not just our forwards, not just our backup center, Yassine, but to really focus on rebounding and giving them one shot. So they're great, they can shoot it, but I really believe 40% of the time they believe they're going to get the O board. So we have to decrease that number. And then we have to stop a phenomenal player. We have to crowd her. We have to try to take away what she likes to do. Many people have tried. I can tell you she will not be alone. There's not going to be single coverage. When there's the ball screen action, we have a plan, and our players understand that during the postseason you have to be more focused and you have to have elevated execution, and that's on both sides of the floor. And so, to prepare for this really good team at home, we're going to be really focused. And we tell our players that we don't just play hard, we compete. We don't just play hard, we're going to compete. And we do that in practice every day.
It was very apparent the mental toughness and confidence that your players had when they were here earlier. Can you talk about how you instill that in them? I know this is a long trip for them. You guys went to Puerto Rico earlier.
Yes.
So I know that they understand how to be away from home and be away from the comforts of North Carolina. Can you talk about what you do to prepare them to make this trip, make this journey, and obviously the concept of moving further than this?
Absolutely. For them, they're like I said, we're older, we're experienced. Many of these players they're not from North Carolina. We have players from outside of the United States. We have 2 from California. So it's a homecoming they're not from Southern Cal, they're from North Cal. We have Khalees came from San Jose, and then Makaya Asadanya, who's actually, she told me that she played against Juju in her AU years, and she's from the northern part of the state. So I think that the fact that they even came across the country to play basketball is great. Players now are just traveling. I think it's a mentality. Like Jade Gamble, she is a dog. She's always had to be, and so she carries that mentality for our team. Khalees Kane, very physical, very confident. We just believe that, like I said, you have to compete. There's no fear. There's no fear. We're just all going to play the game. I think we have one of the best coaching staffs in the nation. And so that I believe that all of our coaches have played in the NCAA or coached in the NCAA. So we can give them some comfort. I played in the NCAA as a player. I've coached in the NCAA. Centera DeGraffenreid played in the NCAA. Alex Miller played in the NCAA. And Fred Applin coached in the NCAA. So we can give them some experiences, but to be here is just an incredible experience. And so we don't take it lightly. We're going to compete. We understand how significant it is for our program, our administration, UNCG, and it's going to be a great game.
Down here.
Amadi Kawa, USCFootball.com. You guys played, a few Power 4 teams, North Carolina, Georgia, Wake Forest, and you played them early on in the season in non-conference. What are some of the things that you guys have learned along the way and improved on that, those mistakes that you made early on that you improved on, or some of the things that you loved about it that you continue to instill in them?
That's a great question. We learned some things about the game that even surprised me. When we look back at some of the analytics of the game, we found that in some of the the teams that we played the best were those games. The analytics show that our offensive efficiency was very good in those games. And so what we learned is the type of shots that we take, our players just started to buy in. So we've gotten better. For instance, we're looking for rim, free, or three. We're looking for rim shots. So we had to convince some of our players to stop taking the mid-range. Maybe they were taking them a little earlier. As the season progressed, they started to take the type of shots that would give them the best results. We said, continue to practice it on your threes. And so we have multiple players who can shoot the three-point shot, which stretches the defense, which causes an opportunity to drive. We said, just stop fouling. Like, don't give your opponent the opportunity to get the type of shot that you're trying to get. So let's make sure we focus daily on defensive principles of how we escort players down the lane and stay disciplined when they're at the rim. We've gotten better at our free throw shooting. We just are more mature and understand the game, and it's such a reward to have older players who are experienced that understand and then apply. And now we are where we are. We've seen many games this year where we've seen single-digit scoring in the fourth quarter, and on multiple in our conference where they know you. Everyone knows what you're doing, and I just think that our team they just keep getting better. And as a coaching staff, that's what you want. You want to say, man, you're learning. Lessons learned, move on, let's get better, and let's keep growing. And I think that's one of the things we've seen, playing them early, coming to January, floating into February on a high, consistent growth, 15 wins straight, and we're trajectorying in the correct way.
I'll finish with a question on just this historic season. I asked the student athletes also, and what does it mean as you build this program, and what does it mean to the community around the campus and all that? How have you felt that?
Absolutely. University of North Carolina, Greensboro, we love the fact from our chancellor to our athletic director and our athletic department, we're all family. And so to move the program to a level where we actually got the championship has been tremendous for not only our team, but our community and the university. Personally, it's just something great as a coach. You always want to do it. It's so hard to do. It's never happened to me as a player. So you get a chance as a player. Do you get a chance as a coach, as an assistant coach? Yes. But to do it as a head coach, it is just tremendous. I am blessed. Thank God for the opportunity. And so, but we want to keep building on it. We want to make it consistent. I think we're at a place now with our players, our recruiting, that we have an opportunity to continue the growth.
Okay. Coach, thank you for taking the time to join us, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. Hey.